Welcome to the Chico Creates podcast, where we have conversations with local artists, musicians, and makers from here in Chico, California. This show is presented by and recorded at Maker Radio 94.5 FM. We are super excited to partner with them and share this space, which you can see on YouTube. And those of you listening, just know that we are still being recorded and produced here in town. And you can also hear us on KZFR 90.1 FM every other Thursday at 7 p.m. And last but not least, I must mention before we get started that I have just dropped a bunch of merch, podcast merch. We've got mugs, shirts, hats. Of course, I brought none of it to show because you gotta forget something on recording day. That's just how it goes. It's always something. At least it was just the merch. So you can check that out on our website, links in the show notes, etc., etc. With me today is Sammey Zangrilli. Sammey is the owner and operator of Turkey Tail Farm and Your Local Marketplace. Born in Sacramento and raised in Amador County, she's a Chico State alumni with a degree in environmental politics. Sammey is an Indigenous woman stewarding historical Concow Maidu land and is currently a board member of CHAT, Chico Housing Action Team. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Yeah. Great to have you for sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself beyond the bio.
So I am a farmer. We live in Yankee Hill, California, which is just right there, right before Concow on Highway 70. We have 40 acres. It's me and my husband who own our business. And I didn't think I was a farmer when I when I first met him, and I definitely fell in love with the land and with raising animals in particular is what we do farm, and just making my own products and knowing exactly where they come from. So I'm really passionate about that. I'm really passionate about taking care of what we've inherited in the long term, as well as right now, right in front of us, and keeping it beautiful and nice and not ruining it.
Yeah. Yep.
Other than that, I love this community, and it's a big reason why I didn't move away after college.
Yeah.
I lived with a group of 14 people right after college at this place called Grub Cooperative. Yep. Also on 40 acres on Dayton Road. And that's when I really fell in love with the whole idea of living communally, living light on the land, knowing exactly where everything that you eat or use comes from. It taught me a lot of discipline. It taught me a lot of respect. Yeah. And I learned how to communicate well with people.
Yes, yes. As one is forced to do when living communally.
But it instilled a lot of great qualities and values in me that I have now.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and with a background in environmental politics, like that all seems like it makes sense. This is where you ended up as a farmer.
Yeah. I wanted to be president of the United States.
Love that.
This year.
Yes. Yeah.
But it didn't quite go that way.
I would have voted for you.
Oh, thank you. I could still run for supervisor. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should.
It's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Yep. So how long have you lived in Chico then, since school?
Yeah, for about 15 years now.
Okay.
I've lived in Chico, and I've been married for 13, and we've had the farm for 13 years.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah. So how did you guys meet?
We met at Grub Cooperative.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was farming his small amount of vegetables and some meat. And my roommates saw him at a farmer's market, invited him over to the house to be a part of our CSA pickup, the Community Supported Agriculture. And I saw him and I was like, who is that? So he had a girlfriend at the time, so I refrained from really speaking to him because I was such a big flirt.
Yeah.
But eventually he broke up with her and asked me out.
Perfect.
So it's all over from there.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. My introduction to Cheetah, your husband, was at the bonfire at Laxon when he told his story. Yeah. So seems like a real sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned the land is something that's keeping you here and just the community Want to speak more about that?
Yeah, we have a beautiful piece of land in Yankee Hill right next to the West Branch of Feather River. Or Lake Orville is our backyard.
Wow.
And it is rich in biodiversity, in wildlife. So rich sometimes that the wildlife likes to take our livestock.
Oh, fun.
And it's, I mean, just this morning I was like, it's such a gorgeous day. I got to sit outside and have my coffee and just like soak it up because you got to take advantage.
Yes.
Got to take advantage as much as possible. I'm not doing a lot of outdoor work at the moment. So whenever I get into those winter phases, I'm always feeling really guilty about not being outside. So I'm trying my best to just like do small projects outside.
Yeah.
Because I am focusing a lot on computer work and inside herbal work at the moment.
Right. But yeah, this is the best time of year to be out in this area. Like before, everything is blooming, it's gorgeous, and then before the miserable summer heat sets in.
Yeah, the ground is perfect for sheet fencing right now.
Oh, nice.
Because we use mobile electric sheet fences, and that way I can move my flock around the entire 40 acres.
Yep, love that.
And it just goes right into the ground.
Yep.
As opposed to in the summertime, I'm like, 50, 60, 70 pounds with my hammer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's how I have such nice arms.
Yes. Well, yeah, you have the gym like built in.
Yeah, I always tell people instead of a medicine ball, I carry around a car battery
to
power my electric fences.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
That's my workout.
Yeah, very good. That and pounding fence posts in to the hard packed dirt.
Yep, and walking with fencing over my shoulder. We don't have a quad.
Okay.
And my husband usually drives the tractor. I'm not quite courageous enough yet, and also I don't want to break anything.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's how I get my steps in.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, walking those 40 acres, that'll do it. So what's your favorite local spot or place to shop or hang out?
I love thrifting.
Yes.
Love it.
Yep.
Like almost everything I own is thrifted or bought locally from somebody, unless it's underwear. And so I love the Discovery Shop.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites. It's so well priced. It's one of those gems where you can find something for 10 cents, 25 cents, $1. And I just love the little old ladies inside.
Yes, yeah.
They're so sweet and they're so well put together. Like I want to be one of them one day.
Yeah.
So I try and frequent the Discovery Shop as much as possible. And then as far as like a local store, I've been really falling in love with Ghost Poppy.
Yes.
I really love going and connecting with Carla and just talking to her about the ins and outs of owning a small business, kind of spilling the tea sometimes, and then just getting myself a little treat. Like I didn't wear perfume for years.
Yeah.
And she just recently started making perfume.
That's good to know because I love her scents. And like I would describe her scents as specifically not perfumey, which is a huge like plus in my mind. Like I hate perfumey candles and things.
Yeah.
So I'd be really interested to smell her perfumes.
Yeah, and she's got a lot. I mean, it's hard to make a decision for sure.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
But so I've started to wear perfume specifically because I know where to buy it locally now.
Yeah.
So, I really I can't burn candles in my house because the smoke alarms are too sensitive.
Yeah.
But I have been thinking about getting one of those candle warmers, even though it sounds pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's a way to do it.
Yeah.
For sure. Or like, I wonder if she would do the reed diffusers too. Because
she does have those.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I love those as an alternative also. Yeah. Cool. So tell me a little bit about your creative background.
Oh, so my creative background. So I was actually a ceramics major when I first moved here.
Oh, cool. Okay.
At Chico State. I went 2 years being a ceramics major, and I just realized that like maybe I didn't have any original ideas. I also hated glazing. I hated it. I just wanted to stick with the underglaze. But part of the curriculum is that you have to like mix your own glazes.
Right.
And do your own firing. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was originally a ceramics major, and I just originally wanted to be an artist because I felt like it was kind of an easy job to have.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, oh, wait, I have to actually make things that people want to buy.
Yes. The making money is the hard part of being an artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, though, my mother has always been a big crafter. She does cross stitch, elaborate cross stitches.
Nice.
She would like enter them in the county fair and things
Cool.
like that. She does knitting and crocheting.
Awesome.
She's had her hand at tanning hides.
Oh, wow.
Dyeing. She's worked with fur.
Mm-hmm.
She's into like the little things now, like making those little houses.
Dioramas and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And she was always a big canner.
Mm-hmm.
She always had a small apothecary in our house. And I was always like, as a kid, like, what are we going to use this for? Like, are you using this?
Yeah.
And she did in her own way. And she always had an altar to our ancestors.
Oh, cool.
As well. So she always had tobacco. And I was like, Mom, you don't smoke.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like, it's an offering.
Yeah. It's not for me. It's for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she's the big influence, being a creative and trying new things. And my grandfather was also a woodworker.
Oh, cool.
And so he was the expert.
Yeah.
He spent his whole retirement refining different wood projects, from being utilitarian to just being purely artistic. He would carve birds.
Oh, cool.
And he would also do little bowls on the lathe.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And he was just an expert, and he just did it for fun.
Yeah.
And once he perfected something, he'd move on to the next.
Yeah, I love that.
So my sisters have tons of his creations still. And I had a collection, but we lost it all in the campfire.
Right.
So, but my sisters have given me little things here and there, which I cherish so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to have things squirreled around the family. For sure, for a lot of reasons. So what led you to make and create your current offerings?
So being a farmer, I have the ability to grow a variety of different things, and also having the philosophy of nothing goes to waste on our farm. So I always strived to make sure I wasn't just composting everything or throwing it away in some way. So I got really into making added value herbal products for that specific reason. And we grow mushrooms as well. So if the fresh mushrooms didn't sell at farmer's market, we dry them and then make them into something different.
Yeah, perfect.
With beauty products specifically, I don't make tons of money. And I really love beauty culture and fashion. So I decided, well, I could try and make a face oil or a face spray.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law introduced me to distillation. He had a small glass still, and I was fascinated by it. It was like alchemy to me.
Yeah.
And I had all these plants that I could distill and make something with. So after the campfire, I bought my own.
Cool.
And got really good at it. Have a great system, and now I can make my own facial sprays and mocktail mixes.
Awesome.
And then from that, I make essential oil.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of essential oil compared to like jars and jars of hydrosols.
Right.
And so I decided I had accumulated enough essential oil that I'm like, oh, I could make a face oil now.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
So now that's like what I use every day is my face spray and my face oil. And I just love knowing that I know exactly what's in it. It's all organic. And it's relatively cheap. You know, I use olive oil, apricot kernel oil, and then all the essential oils I make into what I think to be a really nice smelling, nice feeling facial product.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And you also, make wreaths and things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So nothing goes to waste on the farm. And so if I didn't sell all of my fresh cut flowers, I would dry them or dehydrate them. And I make two different products with those flowers. I make dried flower wreaths. And then I also make this thing that I lovingly call flower fetti, which is an alternative to plastic confetti.
Yes.
And it's basically just flower petals and seeds. But I package it in a cute little package with a nice little label. And then you can throw it at graduations or or birthday celebrations or weddings, and it's biodegradable and it's beautiful, beautiful colors.
Yeah. It's not going to hurt any birds.
Nope.
That's awesome.
And with the wreaths specifically, I grow 2 flowers that I make into the wreaths, which is a sunball flower and a yarrow, and they're both yellow.
Okay.
And I was at Target one day, and I saw that company Magnolia had made this yellow wreath. And I was like, I could make that.
Yep.
So I just tried it out, and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. It's really easy. You know, the only thing that I use that I buy is the glue, the Mod Podge, as we all know.
Right.
Mod Podge.
Yes.
And people really liked it. And my friends were like wanting to buy them. And I have gotten reports that from my previous customers that they still look brand new.
Awesome.
Even being on people's front doors in the sun.
Yeah.
So I do Mod Podge them so that they last forever.
Right.
But basically they're just dried flowers on some kind of wreath back that I usually get at a thrift store.
Right.
Like a foam or a twig wreath back.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Very neat. Do you have any creative rituals or routines, or what does your creative practice look like on a daily basis?
Yeah. So depending on what I'm making and depending on what season it is, it's definitely different. When it's an herbal product and depending on the season, I'm either starting seeds, planting plants, weeding, harvesting, and then I strip leaves off of the stems, and then I wash, and then I dehydrate, and then I food process, and then I store.
Yes.
Until I have enough to make whatever mix I'm working on. Like one of our best sellers is a seasonal herbal salt. It's about 8 to 9 different herbs that we grow. And so when it's usually around September that I'm ready to actually mix it all together. So that looks like I have a small apothecary in my house, which is just my herbal products and my jars and all of that, where I store all of my still and all my tools that I need. And that looks like me put my hair back and my face mask on, my gloves on, and dumping it into this food grade tub, mixing it all up, and then it's packaging, and then it's labeling. So my ritual around that is usually like preparing my space and making sure everything's very clean and sanitized. And that, you know, everybody understands that like this is creating space. Right. So no making breakfast. Right. No animals inside. Right. I have prepared. Yes. So everything goes really smoothly. Yeah. When it comes to my art, I have a small she shed that I absolutely adore. Yep. And I usually like to crack open a beer. I have a little mini fridge in there. Important, yes. Yeah. Love that. That's just for me when I'm creating. I do like to light a candle in there because there's no smoke alarm. Yes. And then I put on one of my favorite shows, which could be like, because I have them on DVD, it could be Downton Abbey, Parks and Rec. Yep. Or Sex and the City. Love it. And I just kind of hone in and focus, and I can make as big of mess as I want and leave it out because it's just my space, and I can lock the door and come back tomorrow and keep hot gluing and Mod Podging. Basically. Love that. Yeah. I love that you've got your go-tos on DVD. My go-tos, which I have on DVD, are The Office and Murder, She Wrote. Oh yeah, it's either you're an Office fan or a Parks and Rec fan. Totally. Yes, it's if you can like what level of darkness you can handle. Yes. I do love Parks and Rec though. Yeah. I am Leslie Knope. Yes. Yeah. You 100% are. I'm surprised I don't have a binder right now. Well, and that's a whole other aspect of what you offer to the community is your event planning. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I started with Bike Music Festival in 2009. I was touring with a bicycling band that had bicycle generated electricity. That's awesome. I was a bit of a groupie. Literally. I was like dating the drummer. Helped generate the electricity for the band. Yep. And I was fresh off of this other bike tour called Wheeled Migration. I was just like trying really hard to focus on how to be lighter on the land. I also didn't own a car.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is my opportunity to have a big adventure.
Yeah.
And so I went on tour with this band called the Ginger Ninjas. Mm-hmm. We went to 5 different states on the East Coast, came back to California, lived in the cooperative.
Uh-huh.
And I got a call from the lead singer, and he was like, we should put on a music festival in Chico. And I was like, all right. So I just kind of jumped in.
Yeah.
Because I had so many friends who played music, it was really easy to find the lineup.
Yeah.
And then from that, I just discovered that I'm really great at talking to people, organizing people, networking, and then transition to now, transition to about 2021, 2022. I couldn't really, the farm wasn't doing great at the local markets. People were just not buying enough to make it worth our while.
Right.
And I decided, well, I could kind of create my own thing and make it worth these other small businesses' while.
Right.
Because we're all struggling.
Yeah.
And we need somebody who cares as much as me.
Right.
So that's when I started creating my own pop-ups and using my networking skills and my organizational skills to make that happen and inviting other small businesses to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And my friend owns Lass and Cidery, and it was a new big facility. Yeah. So I was like, hey, can we use your space? And it's great because it gets people into his facility and to try his amazing product. And he doesn't charge us rent.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, see, that's it's all about who you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so what is the best part about being a creative in Chico?
The best part about it's just the community's so receptive.
Yeah.
They are always looking for something to do that's unique, free.
Yep.
And they do have a strong sense of supporting local, community-owned activities and businesses. Yeah. Which is really special. I guess I'm a bit biased because I haven't really lived too many other places.
And you found your spot.
I did.
Yeah.
And maybe other communities are like that, but I find Chico to be particularly supportive.
Yes.
Of the makers, the creators, the small businesses.
Yeah.
And we are kind of like in this really beautiful Mediterranean banana belt where we can grow things, we can make things.
Yeah.
And they're delicious.
Yes.
They're well made.
Yeah.
There's like a high there's a high level of people wanting to have exceptional things.
Yes.
And wanting to create exceptional things.
Yes. Yeah. So. Yeah. Chico's a really unique town for a lot of reasons. And I think there is that intersection of like not only does the land have so much to offer, but the people who are here for it, like a lot of them recognize that and like that's something that keeps them here, which is one reason you're here. You know? Yeah. And then it draws people who are also makers and offering their things to the community as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just big enough yet just small enough.
Yes.
And you can ride your bike everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was this morning running errands around town and thinking like I could drive like the circumference of Chico in like 20 minutes. It's amazing how it really is. It feels like a small town, even though we're well over 100,000 people now, which is crazy. But like the resources are there too, though, now as we grow, you know. So of course there are growing pains, but we'll figure it out. Do you have any ongoing or upcoming projects you're excited about?
I do. I'm very excited to announce that my second business, Your Local Marketplace, is starting a weekly Saturday market, April through October, 12 to 4, on Park Avenue, across from Oregon. So we'll be featuring, it's mostly added value vendors. So clothing, ceramics, jewelry, apothecary items. Hopefully I'll have some farmers and farming type products like honey, bread, food trucks.
Yep.
And this is just really like an opportunity for small businesses that do added value products to have a space on a weekly basis to sell their wares to, as well as if you wake up too late for the farmer's market, you can still head down to this market.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Well, and I'm thrilled that it's like just a few blocks from my house. So I'm sure I'll wander over there with my son more often than not.
Yay, we'd love to have you. And I'm so excited to be a part of that particular community on Park Avenue because there's so many new wonderful establishments that are going up and development products in the future. Yep. So I'm happy to call myself now a Park Ave resident in some way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, it's so fun to watch it all grow. Yeah, especially, I mean, that's my corner of town, so I'm excited about it. Awesome. Well, I did want to talk about Turkey Tail Farm a little more. You're starting up farm tours and your website is all revamped and like an online store now and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. We had the opportunity to be able to get our website redone for free.
Awesome.
Which is really exciting because I'm intimidated by those kinds of things. And one of the things about our products is that we only have certain permits.
Right.
So it allows us to only sell in certain avenues.
Right.
So the online store will make it accessible for everyone anywhere.
Right.
And then I can ship it to them because I'm always getting those random Instagram messages like, how can I get your product? And I'm like, you have to find me.
Yeah. At one of these random places, depending on what you want. Yeah.
So it's really nice. It's also really nice to have enough product.
Yes.
To have an online store. We have been working so hard since the campfire to rebuild and produce our best-selling products and many units of those best-selling products.
Right.
Because mushrooms don't grow fast.
Right.
They're a time investment for sure. And so we're able to really focus on how to do something properly so that we can get it in a timely manner. Because with mushrooms in particular, you can do a whole batch of inoculation and not know if it actually took for 2 weeks.
Right.
So Cheetah, my husband, has gone above and beyond with his growing techniques to make sure that it all goes smoothly. Like he'll take a shower, he'll put his jumpsuit in the dryer.
Oh, wow.
Before he gets into that lab to do his inoculation because he does not want any competition to mess up those Petri dishes or those wood chip bags.
Yeah.
So, and we're doing a lot more turkey tails. Like all the things that he's trying are actually working for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's very satisfying.
Yes.
And it's great to hear from people that they want this consistent medicinal product, which is our tinctures. We have one customer who just cannot wait for more reishi tincture for us to make it. He takes it regularly. And it feels really great to be in somebody's life like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just took a class on adaptogen, so I'm very excited to like get more into bringing more mushrooms into my life. So
yeah, and there's so many different local sources.
Yes, there are
here too.
Yeah.
Like not just us. There's other small businesses that are doing medicinal mushroom products.
Yeah,
and it's so nice to know that you don't have to order from Fungi Perfecti.
Right. Yeah, there's tons of people that are doing it right here, which is awesome.
And face-to-face interaction
too. Yeah, which makes all the difference for building community. Yeah,
and trusting and
yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. So where can people find you online?
So at the moment, for Turkey Tail Farm's website is in transition, but it's www.turkeytailfarm.com. And then with Your Local Marketplace, it's www.yourlocalmarketplacechico.com. And at the Your Local Marketplace website, you can find our events and all the different pop-ups that we do throughout the year. We do 40 pop-ups throughout the year.
Wow.
With our new Saturday market. And then you can also apply to be a vendor on the website.
Perfect.
So I just look for small local businesses that hand make unique products. No reselling from China, unfortunately.
Nope. And I mean, the great news is there are tons of people in Chico who are making amazing products. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. You can also come to just promote your business. Like if you own a salon or a sauna or...
Yeah, there's a lot of really creative ways to keep a booth without having a product to sell. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like at the booth, I mean.
Yeah. I always try and make sure that our pop-ups are, of course, free.
Yeah.
There's an activity, so you don't have to spend money, like a craft or music. I like to promote it as a third space for people.
Yeah.
An inclusive third space.
Yeah.
For the vendors and for the customers.
Right.
All you have to do is apply to the market and you get in.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that is great. And, it's pretty easy to find you around town, too, with all those markets. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, really
it's my pleasure.
It. Yeah,
thank you
of
for
course.
saying yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we will see you around town. Bye. Thanks for listening to the show. To stay up to date with the latest news and creative happenings around town, follow us on Instagram at chico.creates. The Chico Creates podcast is presented by and recorded at Maker Radio in Chico, California. Hosted and produced by Kira Barsodi. Production engineering and editing by Solomon Perillo. Theme song is Take Your Time by Lorna Such. We now have official merchandise, hats, totes, mugs, shirts for the whole family, and more at chicocreates.com. Sport your support of the show with official Chico Creates podcast merch. This show is made possible by community members like you. I would personally like to thank Melissa Thede, David LaShawn Montoya, Jonathan Greenfield, Heather Leveroni, Kaylee Huber, Troy German, Kate Thurkill, Bonnie Pipkin, Lindsay Hook, Bree Epley, Scott Grisette, and Johan Caro for their continued financial support of this project. If you'd like to join them, head over to chicocreates.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to become a show supporter. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you around town.